How would you feel about a law that requires people over the age of 70 to pass a specialized driving test in order to continue driving? Sorry if this ends up being long, but it's angered me for quite some time. About 10 years ago, my mother at age 69 had a massive stroke. They didn't expect her to live, let alone come out of it mostly all right, which she did except for some vision loss in her left eye. Not total, just peripheral. So she can only see perfectly straight out of that eye. So after about a year recovering from the stroke and the ensuing infection from the surgery that ended up being worse than the stroke itself, she decides she wants to go get tested to see if she can retain her driver's license, required by law in my province of Canada. My father was not well either, as he had a long-term terminal illness, so I packed them both up in my truck and take them to the DMV. Me and my father happily assuming there is no fucking way in hell she will pass. Aside from her vision issues, the amazingly quick-witted and swift woman I grew up with was very unsure of herself at all times and took forever to make the smallest decisions. It broke my heart, and it didn't even occur to me to be scared that she would get her license back. Well, she did, passed with flying colors, the DMV guy said. As a CR, search and rescue tech, the idea of taking him up in the helicopter and throwing him out without a rope occurred to me. 1 week later, accident number 1. T-boned a poor lady as she was coming out of the grocery store. Not much damage and no injuries, thankfully. Mother still refused to admit she wasn't fit to drive. Month later, accident 2. She panics on a multi-lane cross-city road and ends up on the raised median and rips the entire exhaust system off her car. Still won't admit any issues. At this point, I'm amazed I didn't have ulcers. Shortly after accident 2, my father passed away. I did everything up to and including begging to get her to give up the license. She wouldn't do it, and for the next few months I spent every day with a knot in my stomach until I spoke to her around 6 p.m. every night, once she was home from running around. Then around 1 p.m. I get a call from her cell phone. This phone I bought her that she mostly ignored except to charge it. I couldn't understand a word she said. She was so upset on the phone. I managed to get her general location out of her and hopped in a car and more than exceeded the speed limit getting down there. Upon arriving, there are 2 ambulances, shoes in front of her car, and it's up on the curb. She's sitting on the curb next to it, bawling her eyes out, and I'm terrified she's killed someone. Turns out a man and his son were walking out of the soccer pitch next to the road, began to cross on the crosswalk, and she didn't see them. She thankfully only struck the father, and aside from being banged up, he wasn't super seriously injured. Because of my job, I knew most of the police officers in the city, so one of them offered to follow me back to her house so she could take me back down to get her car. By the time I had done so and got back to her condo, she had stopped crying, threw me the extra set of keys to the car she had, and told me to get rid of the car. She even tried to get the DMV worker that passed her fired after that. She immediately realized she shouldn't have ever gotten it back. She was actually terrified that she had been driving like that. Years later, she still comments about how she never even saw the man and his son and how she could have killed one or both of them. I have all the respect in the world for seniors. My mother was one of the first women CEOs in this province and was a hellcat in her day. I learned a lot from her, but I also learned to accept limitations. If you are older reading this post, if you think for even a second that you could maybe not be the safest person to be on the road, talk to